morning. We're now going to move into Isaiah chapter 9. Actually, it's really important to be aware of what the end of Isaiah chapter 8 has said, which is just of a totally desolate people. They've rebelled against God, and life is just a complete disaster. And this chapter division really shouldn't be here. One of the things you read in the Bible to learn is to learn to ignore the chapter divisions, because they weren't there as part of the original, and sometimes they just break the flow of what God is saying. So let's go into Isaiah chapter 9. Let's read verses 1 to 7. And it's a well-known passage. Nevertheless, despite the absolute mess, I'm adding this bit here, despite the absolute mess that Israel had got herself into, despite the absolute mess that mankind has got himself into, there will be no more gloom for those who were in distress. In the past he humbled the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, but in the future he will honour Galilee of the nations, by the way of the sea beyond the Jordan. The people walking in darkness have seen a great light. On those living in the land of deep darkness a light has dawned. You have enlarged the nation and increased their joy. They rejoice before you as people rejoice at the harvest, as warriors rejoice when dividing the plunder. For as in the day of Midian's defeat you have shattered the yoke that burdens them, the bar across their shoulders, the rod of their oppressor. Every warrior's boot used in battle and every garment rolled in blood will be destined for burning and will be fuel for the fire. For to us a child is born, for to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Of the greatness of his government and peace there will be no end. He will reign on David's throne and over his kingdom, establishing and upholding it with justice and righteousness from that time on and forever. The zeal of the Lord Almighty will accomplish this. There's various things to note from that. One is the complete transformation. The people who are walking in darkness will see a great light. The nation which was crushed will be enlarged. The nation that was desolate, the people that were desolate, will be full of joy. They'll be rejoicing. The yoke over them, the yoke of the oppressor, will be broken. This is the heart of our God. This is what he comes to do. And remember, this was given in a time of darkness. You might think we have dark days at the moment. God's plans have not changed. Well, then look at something else. Who accomplishes this? How does it come about? It's by the action of God. It says, for us a child is born, a son is given. God gave his son, Jesus. And look, if we go back to the beginning, it says he will honour Galilee of the nations. Where did Jesus spend an awful lot of his time? You find in the Gospels, in Galilee. It says the government will be upon his shoulders. We can wonder what's happening in the world. The men and women know what to do. Have they got a clue how to handle things? The government will be upon the shoulders of Jesus. And of the greatness, the increase of his government and peace, there will be no end. And he will reign forever and ever. And all this is accomplished by the zeal of the Lord Almighty. We need to be God-centered. Especially in these days, we need to be God-centered, we need to be Jesus-centered. Amen.